This is the Pioneer Zephyr. This model was made by Con-Cor back in 2005, and I actually picked this up at a hobby shop back in Memphis. Not only was I able to get a good deal on the set, but I mostly got it because I've seen the real train multiple times at the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago, and it's a very unique train. The Pioneer Zephyr is a diesel-powered train set completed on April 9, 1934, by the Budd Company. It is the first of the Zephyr train sets for the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy Railroad. The idea for the Zephyr was in large part due to the decrease in passenger ridership due to the rise of the automobile in the 1920s. The design involved a streamlined locomotive and a set of cars connected together by a single truck between each car. The train would also be the first successful locomotive to be built of stainless steel. This allowed the locomotive to be sturdy and lighter than traditional passenger cars. While also not being the first streamlined train in the U.S., the design would inspire many of the later streamlining of trains in the U.S. The Zephyr got its name due to the Budd Company wanting the name to start with the letter Z, as it would be the last word in passenger service. After searching through the dictionary for the words with Z, they could not find a matching name. Ralph Budd, the owner of the company, was reading the Canterbury Tales, and they mentioned the Greek god Zephyrus, the god of the west wind. Seeing the name, he found it to be a perfect fit for the train and named it the Zephyr. It didn't get the name Pioneer Zephyr until the CB&Q started naming their other passenger trains with the Zephyr name. Before entering revenue service, the Zephyr would first go on a 3-week promotional tour to cities in the Northeast and the Midwest. After the tour, she would perform the publicity stunt Dawn to Dusk, where the Zephyr would travel from Denver to Chicago on May 26, 1934. The goal was to start from Denver and arrive in Chicago in time for the opening of the Century of Progress Fair in Chicago. She would make the journey in 13 hours and 5 minutes, which was an hour and 55 minutes faster than scheduled. She would also be the star in the film The Silver Streak of that same year. The locomotive entered revenue service November 11, 1934, traveling between Kansas City, Missouri, and Omaha, Nebraska, and Lincoln, Nebraska. After that, the Zephyr would continue to have an uneventful passenger career until March of 1960. After a roughly 26-year-long career, the Zephyr was retired and donated to the Chicago Museum of Science and Industry. She would be on display outdoors till 1994, where MSI would remove the train and have it cosmetically restored. During that time, they dug a pit to build an exhibit where the locomotive can be protected from the elements and viewed all year round. The exhibit is where she currently lies and will never likely run again. The locomotive and 2-car set come packed in a large box. Starting at the front of the box, we have this gorgeous artwork of the train. On the length side of the box, we have the Con-Cor logo, the Zephyr, and the train. The width sides are pretty much the same thing, except for the product info. The box can be opened by taking the lid off, and underneath it, we have a foam cover with the paperwork. Underneath the foam top, we have the 3-piece set wrapped in plastic in the foam. To get them out, all you have to do is just grab the piece out and gently pull it out of the plastic wrap. On a side note, there is a little foam hole over here that has a bag for some optional detail parts that I've already installed and will point them out during this video. The extra car comes in a smaller box. The top of the box is silver striped with the Con-Cor logo in a maroon and orange stripe. The other sides are pretty much the same, with the width sides having the product info. The box opens up the same way as the other, and the car is pulled out the same as the others. As for the train, to start off, the train is entirely painted silver. On the locomotive, we have the train number, Burlington, and United States Mail printed in black. On the front of the logo, we have the Burlington route logo, which has the only color on the entire set. The second car has the Railway Express printed in black, and finally, in the observation car, we have the train number and Burlington Zephyr in black. The add-on coach does not have any prints. The locomotive is made mostly of plastic, but with a metal chassis at the bottom, giving the locomotive some weight. Due to the fact that this is a train set, it just needs enough weight to pull the 3 coaches, which it can do so effortlessly. Since the entire train is streamlined, there are very few details. On each side of the loco, we have separately applied metal handrails by each door. Underneath the back 2 doors, we have the optional step pieces, which I installed. Mail catchers on each side were also optional parts that I already installed. Each side also features rib siding that will stretch with the rest of the train. At the front of the loco, we have the cab. The cab is rounded to begin the streamlining from the pilot to the roof. In the center, we have the rounded cab window, and you can see into the cab. There are no factory installed drivers. On the top, we have molded grills that aren't seen through, unlike the real loco. We also have a metal rail on the top of the grill. At the top of the cab, we have a working headlight and marker lights. On the roof of the loco, we have a separately applied exhaust piece, and I'm not too sure what this is, but it's also separately applied. The roof starts off smooth with some rivet detail, and then moves on to a more grooved roof that will stretch to the rest of the train. There is an interior, however, it is only the cab, as the rest of the body holds the motor for the two powered trucks. There is also interior lighting, and the trucks are made of plastic, but have nicely molded details. The front truck has a side piece that is able to swivel left and right with the truck. The back truck is the same, with a brace around it. The same truck is used on the coaches, so I won't be bringing it up on them. Finally, at the back of the loco, we have the trailing truck with a very convincing molded diaphragm. The diaphragm is able to swivel up and down with the train for a convincing effect. Directly behind the locomotive, we have the combine car. This car has a baggage and seating area for passengers and is made of plastic. For details, we have separately applied metal handrails by each door on both sides. Below each door, there is a step, however, for the baggage door, the step here was an optional part that I installed. The end of the car features another diaphragm. As for the interior, we have a large empty room for baggage, and in the back we have passenger seats. There is also a small bathroom in the middle. This coach also has interior lighting. Next we have the add-on car. The add-on car is a standard passenger car and is made of plastic. There isn't a whole lot to say about this one, but on the top we do have what appear to be separately applied vents. On each side by the doors we have separately applied metal handrails and some plastic steps at the bottom. The rest of the detail is molded into the body, and at the end we have another diaphragm. As for the interior, we have a large seating area, plus some bathrooms in the back, plus lighting. And finally, bringing up the rear, we have the observation car. Like the others, this car is also made of plastic. The only separately applied details are the handrails and steps by the door. On the roof, we have the end of the grooved roof and have a smooth plated rounded end. The rib sides also end close to the end of the observation. On the back of the car, we have a working taillight and marker lights. As for the interior, in the front we have more normal passenger seating, followed by some bathrooms in the middle, and the back some parlor seating. And finally, like the others, this does have interior lighting. Now before getting the train on the track, we first need to connect them. Connection for this train is unique, as besides the loco, each car shares a truck. To connect each car, first attach the plugs between them like so. Then lift up the hook side and place it on the pin side on the other side, and voila, they are connected. The set right now is standard DC, but is DCC ready. As for this video, I believe Con-Cor still offers made-to-order decoders for this set, which I plan to get in the future. On a final note before running, if you do install DCC, you do not have to worry about adding a keep alive, as every truck is a source of power. To demonstrate what I mean, here's the entire train off the track, except for the back wheels of the observation. Now with that out of the way, let's see her run. Overall, the Con-Cor Pioneer Zephyr is a great model if you want the Zephyr on your layout. Keep in mind though that this is a rare model to find and you have to hunt at either eBay, train shows, or shops that deal with used trains. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.